There are only 30 active supervolcanoes in the entire world, and Yellowstone Park is one of them, and the only one to be located on land. Yellowstone has about 300 active geysers and about 10,000 thermal features. Yellowstone Park has one of the world's largest calders, measuring 45 by 30 miles. Yellowstone National Park has approximately 2,000 earthquakes yearly. Yellowstone National Park is 63 miles long and 54 miles wide. Yellowstone National Park is larger than Rhode Island and Delaware combined. The average year-round temperature of Yellowstone is about 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Yellowstone is the world's first national park. It was established on March 1st, 1872, 20 years before Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming were granted their statehood. 96% of Yellowstone National Park is located in Wyoming, 3% in Montana, and only 1% in Idaho. Yellowstone National Park has 5 park entrances, 466 miles of roads, 950 miles of backcountry trails, and 97 trailheads, and 287 backcountry campsites. The Yellowstone has an upper loop and a lower loop. As you travel the loops, you can see many visiting points. Each landscape was unique to itself. It was an amazing trip. It was a 2-day trip, and I wished I had stayed for more longer. We visited Yellowstone in the autumn last year. It was beautiful and was starting to get colder. In the year 1992, Yellowstone National Park hit a record high number of visitors, over 3 million visitors in 1 year. It's amazing to watch the volcano's hidden power rising up in colorful hot springs, mud pots, geysers, steam vents, and geyser basins. On day 1, our first visit was to Paint Pot. In the Paint Pot, there was a deep puddle with very colorful water, deep blue in the center, and varying shades of yellow, green, and blue towards the circumference. We also encountered a stinking geyser spilling the water and steam on our faces. It smelled like rotten eggs. I guess it was just sulfuric acid. Our next stop was Grand Prismatic Springs. There were 3 geyser basins, a huge one and 2 smaller ones. When there is a large amount of water inside the earth, it gets heated and the super hot water rises to the surface, forming puddles of colorful water. Based on the type of minerals and chemicals, the color of the water is affected. There is a continuous flow of water rising to the surface. These puddles are called geyser basins. They can be above the ground or below the ground. Grand Prismatic Spring is an example of a geyser basin above ground. It pumps out 4,000 gallons of boiling water every single minute, making it the largest hot spring in North America. Our next stop was Old Faithful. Nearby, there was another geyser named Lion that bursted water up to 60 feet in the air. Old Faithful geyser was awesome, but the problem was the geyser came in 30 minutes late. The geyser shot the water up to 130 feet in the air. It was a sight to watch and worth the wait. Geysers. The basins below the ground get heated and build pressure. When the pressure can no longer be held, the water bursts to the surface, causing geysers. Old Faithful and Lion geysers are examples of geysers. Do you know how the geyser got its name as Old Faithful? It's been always erupting every 91 minutes since man has discovered this geyser. Hence, the name Old Faithful. Our last stop for the day was the West Thumb Geyser Basin. There were a lot of puddles with super hot water and mud pots. There was a mud pot just next to our car where we parked. Mud pots. The heated acidic water under the surface breaks down the surrounding rock into clay, which mixes into the water. The heated mixture then raises to the surface through the fractured rock to form mud pots on the surface. The next day, we went to the Mammoth Hot Springs directly. It was a magnificent sight to watch. The water flowed through the staggered terrains of calcium deposits. Hot springs. A spring of naturally hot water, typically heated by the subterranean volcanic activity. Mammoth Springs is an example of a hot spring. The continuous flow of water to the surface, combined with sulfur and other chemicals, create vibrant travertine terraces. The landscape looks beautiful and also keeps changing due to the chemical deposits. Our next stop was Roosevelt. The gorges were really deep and with hot chemical flowing down the slopes into the streams below. Next, we saw the Tower Falls, but sadly, we couldn't take any pictures. Next, we went to the Grand Canyon Village. Grand Canyon of Yellowstone is the most breathtaking sight inside the Yellowstone National Park. The Grand Canyon of Yellowstone is 20 miles long, 1,500 to 4,000 feet wide, and 1,000 feet deep at some places. Mineral stains mark the location of hot springs and steam vents in the canyon walls. For thousands of years, upwardly percolating fluids have altered the chemistry of rocks, turning them yellow, red, white, and pink. When the old geyser basin was active, the cooking of the rock caused chemical alterations in the canyon iron compounds. The rocks are essentially rusting. The colors indicate the presence or absence of water in the individual iron compounds. Most of the yellows in the canyon are the result of iron present in the rock rather than sulfur, as many people think. The 19th century painter Thomas Moran said its beautiful tints were beyond the reach of human art. Our last stop was the Norris Basin. Norris Geyser Basin is the hottest and the most changeable thermal area in Yellowstone. No other thermal area in Yellowstone exhibits this phenomena. Mysteriously, features throughout the Norris area undergo dramatic behavioral changes literally overnight. Clear pools become muddy and boil violently, and some temporarily become geysers. Microscopic life is even seen in the most extreme environment. You can see basins, geysers, steam vents, and mud pots. The pools are in all different colors, indicating different minerals in each pool. Yellowstone Park is home to more wild animals than almost anywhere else in the U.S. Bison, wolves, bears, eagles, swans, and a lot more. It has 50 mammal species, 311 bird species, 18 fish species, 6 reptile species, 4 amphibian species, and 5 endangered or threatened species. As we were driving toward the waterfalls in the north, we came across a huge herd of 200 or more bisons charging at us. It was a thrilling and frightening experience. We immediately parked our car on the side of the road to let these kings pass by. As we went further, we also spotted 2 black bears running on the hills next to the road we were traveling on. One of the bears almost came charging down and then turned away to get onto another hill. That was really cool. Hope you enjoyed this video and got to know some facts about Yellowstone.